Good morning. It's Mrs. O.C.A.S.I.O. Thank you for coming to the workshop. It is technically a very fall day, although, upstate New York, Rochester, we've had some snow right on top of our fall season. We've had like snow that has fallen all over the leaves, the colorful leaves, and is still here despite the fact that the trees all still have leaves on them. But today we're kind of back to the standard fall day because, things can kind of change overnight here. So it's kind of like a fall day with a little bit of rain, and it's a perfect day for just kind of staying in and kind of grounding ourselves and sitting down with a nice cup of hot cocoa or coffee or tea and having a workshop together. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about gratitude. I designed this workshop to be sort of a kickstart to starting the gratitude journal that's out of my book. The name of my book is, and maybe you have it because I've been kind of announcing it for the last week or so, Rediscover Your Confidence in Your Career. Okay, and in part of this book, there's actually a 20-day journal entry activity in here. So there's a journal that's like within the book that has reflection prompts and then like a page to do an entry in the journal. So the kickstart that I plan on having us participate in today is to kind of get us started, like a jump start for the first 7 days, which the first 7 days have pretty much all the components of like the O.C.A.S.I.O method for gratitude, which is a wonderful mindset. Okay, so let me take a pause here because I want to go over the agenda for the workshop for today. Put this down here. Okay, so here is, I wrote down kind of the agenda of what we're doing today. Okay, so first we're going to have the intro. Okay, I'm going to introduce myself to you, and we're going to talk a little bit about the book, about why it was designed and how it really goes with the workshop today. And then we're going to talk about the O.C.A.S.I.O model for gratitude. We're going to have a couple practices because, like I said, I'm trying to do kind of a kickstart to this activity in the book, and then we're going to have our closing. So this is our agenda for today. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to have you take a pause. I'm going to stop the video for a minute, and if you have the book, okay, I would say get the book and open to page 36. If you don't have the book yet, I would hope that you're going to go ahead and get the book because it's very complimentary for the coaching. My pencil. But if you don't have that, I'm going to give you a pause to be able to get your journal, some paper, and something to write with, okay? And then bring back a bottle of water or something to drink, and then we're going to get started. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, so hopefully you're back and you have everything you need. Okay, some paper and something to write with and maybe a little drink. Okay, so let me start by introducing myself. I figure that if you're here, you probably know me, but if you don't, my name is Laura O.C.A.S.I.O. I am a longtime educator, and the last thing I've done for the last 3-4 years is I've been a college and career teacher and a CT teacher, and I've worked on college preparedness and career readiness, and have done a lot of work with students on goal setting, time management, organization, that type of things in a high school setting. I've also worked with adults from like 18 to 30. And just recently, I've decided the best use of my intentions and the things I'd like to do with people on a personal level would be to start career coaching and working on other people with their professional development. I have 2 books that go with my curriculum that just recently came out. I want to introduce those to you. The first 2 are Rediscover Your Confidence in Your Career. And this is a multi-sensory, like workbook style activity. And in this book is the gratitude journal part that we're doing today. And its companion is also under the same name, Rediscover Your Confidence in Your Life, but it's also on the O.C.A.S.I.O goal setting method or system. Okay, so there's those 2. I also have books that are coming out that I will be introducing coming up. That's Journey to Transformation. But for today, we're going to focus on the gratitude section of my book. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about gratitude itself and how it really shapes our growth, and it shifts our focus, hocus pocus, shifts our focus in our lives from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. So it does change our outlook in the way that we look at things, and this helps with like self-discovery and achieving our goals. Okay, so the formula or the O.C.A.S.I.O connection with gratitude is a little bit different than the goal setting system, where I've gone through that many times about the steps and how they go along with the O.C.A.S.I.O letters. This one is a little bit different, and I wrote them down for you so you can have a look. Okay, so the first O in the O.C.A.S.I.O model for gratitude is to open your mind and open your heart. Okay, so that's the O is for opening your mind and your heart. So you have to be very open-minded, and you have to be very receptive of the gratitude mindset. The C is very much the same as the goal setting. It's for clarity, or clarify your purpose of why you're doing this. Okay, and then A is to act with intention. So this isn't something that you're going to do with just the hopes that if you start doing this, that things are going to work out and your attitude is going to shift, and that you're going to have a better result in your relationships and your goal setting. This is something that you really have to do with purpose, very purposefully. So you have to act with intention. And the S is to sustain your focus. This is something where you're really going to have to be very mindful and focused on gratitude. You have to be really thoughtful when you're doing the journaling. And we hope that the ideas that you're learning and the practices will stay with you throughout the day, and that you can build from one thing you learn and apply it to something else, so that you can kind of have some growth with the process with the gratitude journaling. And then I would be inspire others. So I know we talked about a little bit in my last video, we talked about reflection. When you're writing reflections in your journal and you're telling your story, and you get comfortable telling your story to others, you never know who you're going to encounter that you're going to impact in a positive way, that your story of the things that you've overcome and your way of doing things could actually really help someone else. So that's the I, it's for inspire. And then outcome, own your own outcome. Okay, so this is being accountable for your own results. You get what you put into it. If you do just a very little, that's probably what you're going to get out of it. But if you go into it wholeheartedly, you will probably have some really good sustainable results. Okay, so this is the O.C.A.S.I.O method for gratitude. Okay, so what I want you to do is we're going to do our first exercise, and that's going to be with the O. Okay, so you're going to get your pen and your paper out, and we're going to get ready to do our first couple journal prompts. Okay, so we're going to do the first journal prompt. Okay, so listen carefully. You can either try to write it down, or if you have the book, you can look in the book, and it's there. It's on page 42, but you can also write it on your journal pad and paper if you need to. Okay, so I want you to think about this. What in your life right now, okay, that you have that feels like a blessing, okay, even if it sometimes is a challenge, what do you have in your life that you could think of as a blessing? Okay, so you can take a moment to write that down, either on your paper, or this book is made to be to have your writing in. You can write it right in the journal prompt. I'm going to give it a little bit of time, and then we're going to reconnect on how the journaling went. Okay, all right, think about writing that down. I'm going to put a little bit of meditation music or sound on for us. Maybe not. Okay. All right, it's supposed to be a crackling fire, like if you're outside and you're camping or something like that. So we have that sound here. So we're going to take a time to write down again, what do you have in your life that you could probably say is a blessing? All right, so write that down. All right, we're going to give it a few more seconds. All right. So you can always go back to this if you need to. You can go back and look at this. I mean, it is a YouTube video, so, you know, we got to be mindful of time. But if you're not done thinking about that and you're in the midst of writing, you can kind of put it on hold and come back. You're always welcome to come back and have a look at it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that was just one of the journal prompts that we have for the first one, which would be for O. Okay, so now we're going to move on and we're just going to look at the second one, which is the C, which is clarity or clarify your purpose. I'm going to start off with the affirmation for this first, okay? I am aware, centered, and grateful for the clarity that guides my path. Okay, so that's the affirmation that goes for that day. Okay, so the journal prompt for that would be, in what area of your life are you ready to focus your gratitude and intention? Okay, so with this one, we're looking for a specific area of our life that we would want to put the focus on for gratitude. All right, and I'm going to put the timer on for a little bit so that we can do some writing with that. And I'm going to work along with you and come up with an area. Okay, so take your time if you're still writing that. If you are done writing with that, it could be anything as simple as you know, you want to be more thankful, have gratitude for when somebody cooks for you, or you're eating something that's made by somebody else and it's delicious. Taking our time to eat it mindfully, slowly. Make sure that we're paying attention to the care and maybe some love that came into, you know, somebody making us like some special soup, or even giving us a cup of coffee, or preparing, you know, something like a baked good or something. We know around the holidays people are always, you know, making cookies or brownies or something like that. When we're enjoying that, can we be more mindful and have more clarity on the awareness that we have when we're eating food? Are we just always in a hurry to, you know, stop, we eat, and we leave? So that would be one idea of something that you could write about. I'm sure some have so many other ones. I know the last time I did this exercise with a client, they had quite a commute. Okay, so the area that they decided to focus on is either listening to like a podcast, like while they're driving, or just shutting everything off and being completely quiet, or being just more aware of it's a scenic drive. So it could be any area of your life. It could be eating, it could be driving, it could be while we're studying or spending time with our children or our family. So that's very individual. So whatever you feel would be an area of your life that you would like to have more clarity on, that would be something you could journal about. Okay, so we're going to take a minute and then we're going to go on to the next journal prompt. Okay, so the next journal prompt that we're going to do happens to deal with intention and being very intentional. This journal prompt really does relate kind of to the clarity one, but it's finding joy in the little things. So once we identify some of the moments that bring us joy in our life, and we bring our awareness to the things that are important to us and that we really enjoy, taking the moment to think about, how can I bring more moments like that into my life? So identify something that you really enjoy, that it's a really good moment in your life. And after you identify that, let's start with this journal prompt. What intentional action can you take to create more moments like these? Okay, so that's the next journal prompt. Set the timer. All right, so we can have a moment to write that down. Again, you can write it in the book, or you can write it in your journal if you don't have the book yet. Okay. All right, so I'm going to read the affirmation that goes with this before we go on to the next one. I find joy in the simple and meaningful moments that shape my day. Okay. All right. Okay. So the next pillar for the O.C.A.S.I.O method to gratitude is about sustaining our momentum, all right? Sustaining our focus as we go along, okay? So let me just read this to you. Gratitude strengthens your resilience, okay? When challenges arise, it reminds you of what's still going well and helps you to stay grounded. Today, use gratitude as an anchor to sustain your focus, even when path seems uncertain. So many times we don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know, even we put a lot of effort into things. We don't know what our result's going to be. Sometimes things come right away and come easily, and sometimes things take more time. But this is about sustaining your focus as you go through this process. So here's the journal prompt that goes with this. How can you use gratitude to stay grounded when facing obstacles? Okay, so this is a different one. It's a gratitude journal that talks about what do you do when you start facing obstacles. Okay, so let's finish that journal prompt. I'm gonna go ahead and set the timer on that. Okay, so while you're finishing up on that, I want to talk a little bit about the S in the O.C.A.S.I.O goal setting, which is about supports, having a support system, and it's actually part of this journal prompt here in your gratitude journal. Okay, so when you face obstacles, if you are following the O.C.A.S.I.O goal setting system, part of it is the S in there stands for support systems. Okay, are you looking to see who you have when you have an obstacle or things are difficult that can be a support to you, either friends or family or neighbors or friends that you communicate with regularly, or it might involve with, in order to get the support you need to maybe pursue a new interest or overcome a challenge, maybe it will have to do with doing some networking to be able to get those support systems. So that is something that we should consider, and are we thankful for the support systems that we have in our life? I'm going to end this part of the gratitude journal with the affirmation. I am strong, focused, and grateful for the lessons that guide my growth. Okay, so when we have obstacles, do we look back and we're better? Like, I can't believe that happened to me. I can't believe I had to overcome that. Or are we having some type of gratitude for the lessons that we learn when we have those challenges in our life? Okay, so the next one is about inspiring others. And I know that when we first started this workshop, I talked a little bit about going back and watching the video that talks about reflection and why we do journaling and reflection in coaching, and about how we get used to telling our story. All right, when we become more mindful and we get used to reflecting, how this could really be something that inspires somebody else in their life. We all have something to contribute. And you might think that something that happened to us is like, no big deal. Or you might think that was a hard time that I overcome. I never want to talk about it or go back to that again. But you never know what you have overcome or what have happened in your life that you could be telling someone that could be inspiring to them. So the journal prompt is, who has made a positive difference in your life this week? All right. So that's one, but an alternative one that I really like. What qualities do you appreciate in others that you wish to nourish in yourself? Do we see something else in someone that we wish that we could we know we have that. Maybe they have a wonderful sense of humor. And when things get really hard, they cheer us up by having something witty or kind of funny to say. Is this something that maybe we could develop and be more cheerful and inspiring to others? So think about what that quality that we appreciate in others and how we might nourish that in ourselves. I'm going to go ahead and set the timer for that one. Okay, so I'm going to actually close the blind because I'm getting a... Okay, so I had to close the blind here. Apparently the sun decided to come out. Who'd have known? Upstate New York, sometimes the sun actually does come out. Okay, so just for like a recap, the one that you should have probably been working on is the one about being able to inspire others. Like I said, we are all part of a community. We're all connected, and we don't really know the things that we've encountered and overcome, and the stories of things that have happened to us could be inspirational to other people. Okay, so lastly, let's start with the last one here. I'm going to bring this up to kind of remind you again of the O.C.A.S.I.O model for gratitude, and that is own your own outcome. Okay, so this is just about taking responsibility for the effort that we put into things. Anything that you're doing, like even watching this video right now, if you're working on like self-improvement, or you're trying to make a career move that will be better for you, or any type of goal that you're trying to accomplish, the person that's mostly responsible for making that come to fruition is you. So we really do have to own our own outcomes. Are there things that get in the way, that could be obstacles that could be caused by other people or be perceived as causes of other people, from other people? Like for instance, like if you're doing something like a job search, or you're trying to get to the gym to work out to have your fitness goal, whatever your goals are, and you encounter, I'm giving you the example because this is upstate New York here and it's just started snowing, people who are like driving like maniacs or don't know how to drive in the snow, and they don't seem to be getting out of your way. And it seems like other people are in your way. But leaving a little bit early, and realizing that, we don't have control over traffic, things like that help us be more responsible and really not put that on other people when we end up with things that make our goals not materialize maybe as fast as we would like them to. Okay, so let's see if we can find that last journal prompt that goes with owning your outcome. Okay, so we want to make sure that we think about how gratitude has influenced our actions and our attitudes, okay, and be thinking about the progress that we make. So we have to take a moment with this reflection and think about my practice of gratitude and my showing appreciation and my attitude. How is that affecting my outcome? So thinking about our own thinking, like metacognition, thinking about, our own attitude and our own mindset, and the way we think about things. How is this affecting how things turn out for us? Okay, so take a moment and just work on that reflection a little bit and do the journal prompt for that, and kind of think about, how we think about gratitude or not think about gratitude. How is it affecting like our outcome in our lives? Let's set the timer for that. This is the last one that we're going to do together. So I'm going to give you some time to go ahead and write that down, and then we're going to do the affirmation. we're going to do the affirmation for this. Okay. I celebrate every step of progress as a reflection of my dedication to my own growth. Okay, so this is like, if we're dedicated to our own growth and our own outcomes, we're taking accountability or responsibility for our ability to have gratitude and our outcomes. Okay, so real quick, because we're going to get ready to close this. Okay, again, this is the open your mind and heart is the O. Clarifying your purpose is the C. Act with intention. Okay, and then sustain your focus. Okay, inspire others and own your own outcome. So when we do this, we're doing like the first week in the gratitude journal. Okay, there's 21 days that you're doing. Hey, Zoe, the emotional support animal's right behind me here. Hopefully she's here to support me. But it's a 21-day journal. Science has shown, and studies have shown, that it takes about 21 days for anything that we're doing to become a habit and become part of our routine and then affect us in a beneficial way. So very much like what we did for our workshop, you're going to have a couple paragraphs that you read about kind of showing gratitude, and a little bit about what you're going to be journaling about. You're going to have 2 or 3 different reflections. You can do all 3 of them. You can choose one that kind of speaks to you, and then you're going to have a page each day to do some reflective journaling practice. And you can write right in your book. If you haven't gotten the book, you can find it on Amazon. All right. And we're also going to be doing small groups, workshops, from some of the activities that are in this book. And if you would like to participate, I would love to have you. Subscribe, drop a like in here, put something in the comments, and I can reach out to you and we can get you involved in an upcoming workshop or group. But thank you for coming to the workshop, and I hope this gave you a good kickstart to doing your gratitude the O.C.A.S.I.O way. All right, have a good day and hope to connect with you soon. Bye-bye.